Hey, it's us again at Probably Unlimited Games, back with week 2 of Hunting in the Queen's Forest. Last week we had the deer that could finally fight back. This week we started building the actual game around them. And let me tell you, there's a big difference between we made a thing work and we made these things work together. Speaking of which, we finally have a proper interaction system, which sounds pretty boring, but is actually huge. Before this, you could shoot deer and pick up any arrows that you missed, but not really a whole lot more. Now you can actually interact with the world. You can pick up objects, you can examine things, collect resources. It's basically the difference between a tech demo and something that feels like an actual game. The first thing we're having you collect is wood. You can't really cook meat if you don't have anything to cook it on, right? So wood and meat are going to be the two pillars for our town management system. Wood to cook with and keep everyone warm, and meat to feed everyone. It's actually really interesting to think how much towns and cities of this time period revolved around simply keeping the hearth flame alight. The Romans had Vesta, the Irish had Dagda, and I guess we have number go up? We've also started to code a basic UI. Again, it's still very basic, but it actually updates when things happen in the game world. For example, the number goes up when you collect food, it displays how many arrows you have, your health changes when a deer gets too aggressive with you, things like that. It's all placeholder stuff, but it works, and that's ultimately what matters in the prototype phase. We've also blocked out the basic town layout. Right now, it's just gray cubes that represent buildings, but we're starting to get a feel for the space and how players will move through it. We've already gone through a couple of different systems on paper on how the town management is going to work. Boring stuff, figuring out the numbers, seeing how everything feels, trying to come up with something that fits the theme and the feel of the game, stuff like that. We've got a preliminary system that we think we like, and we're prototyping to see if it actually feels the way we want to. And, like I mentioned earlier, the deer you hunt can now actually be harvested for resources. They're not just glorified target practice with a chip on their shoulders. There's actually a purpose and a connection to the town management systems we're building. It's starting to feel like actual gameplay instead of just isolated mechanics. Resources also now save between map changes. Again, pretty basic stuff, but it allows us to move back and forth between our two primary gameplay loops, hunting and homesteading. The wood and meat you collect in the forest is still stored in the game memory when you get back to town. Nothing revolutionary, but it feels like we're starting to create something actually cohesive. The big discovery this week is how much implementing rough systems teaches you about what the actual game is going to be like. We've been doing a lot of prototyping, a lot of brainstorming, and now we're finally to the point where we're roughing out the broad shapes of these systems. We'll refine everything as we get more detailed. Some ideas look great on paper but feel clunky when you actually implement them, and others that seem simple turn out to have a sense of hidden complexity. But that's the tedious side of prototyping. You spend a lot of time thinking up systems, testing them, challenging them, changing them, and a lot of the time, ultimately discarding them. You never really hit it out of the park on first try, so having the patience to really work through these problems and flaws is essential. Is this something we can keep? Is this something we can improve or iterate on? Or is this something that's fundamentally broken and just needs to be discarded? Kind of the opposite of school, where you get one try and then get a final grade. The foundation is finally starting to take shape, and it's starting to feel like something that you'd actually want to play rather than just a collection of tech demos. Next week, we'll dive deeper into the town management systems and see how all these pieces fit together. As always, feedback is appreciated. See you next week, when everything stops being gray cubes, hopefully. Maybe this week we'll have the time to get the deer to stop doing their Michael Jackson impressions. I swear if I have to hear Smooth Criminal one more time, I'm gonna